Good. If we are ready to roll, I will go ahead and say hi to the whole stream there. I am Bobo the Vulture. You guys knew that already.
And I'm Lethal Feline.
You
I'll be
probably knew
riding
that.
as Bobo's navigator this final run of Gran Turismo 2.
Well, we're hoping it's a final run. I could always fail. That's a
No,
real viable option here. Now, I am noticing this spinning Corolla has a lot of anti-aliasing going on in it, like it's tearing. But it's tearing on my TV too. This is not just some effect of the recording device. This is apparently literally how it looked on a PlayStation in the day.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly right.
I mean, it looks like it's badly encoded, but nope, that's just what the PlayStation did.
You're getting the authentic experience on the authentic PlayStation 3.
The authentic PlayStation, a couple of generations after that one, that's just still
You like
backwards
how I
compatible.
fucking qualified that just like, oh yeah, it is on a 3.
Now, last time we won we raced for 2 hours and we won a Toyota Corolla. That was relatively new at the time, but now would be like a 20-year-old Corolla.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to do it for the Gran Turismo World Championship, which is the big final event that we have to do. This is a Mitsubishi 3000 GT LM edition. It's possible that could.
For those not in the know, the LM stands for Le Mans.
Le Mans. There were a lot of cars in here that call themselves LM editions. I don't remember ever specifically going to Le Mans. It's possible maybe they did, and I just wasn't paying attention at the time, or it is possible that this is like Gran Turismo headcanon that all of these Japanese car companies made special cars to go to Le Mans.
Who knows? It was like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah,
They
I
could
mean,
have.
who was alive back then? Well,
Old man Bobo. And that old man Lethal.
oh, this is another possibility. This is a super crazy rallying. Well, not rallying. This is like a Japanese GT championship Mitsubishi Skyline, 670 horsepower.
Everyone loves them
Jesus.
skylines. Can't go wrong.
People love Skylines. And, folks at home, if you like any of the cars you see in this game now and you live in the United States, chances are these are registerable as antiques in your state at this point if you want to go through the process of importing them and all of the paperwork necessary to get them registered as classic cars.
So that's a feather in your cap if you wish to have that feather in your cap. If you do
There's
not wish to have that feather in your cap, well, I'm sure you have other hobbies.
Then God bless you. Let's see. This one's got a little bit more horsepower, but also a couple hundred more pounds under it to have to carry around.
Mm-hmm.
I think the power to weight ratio is better on the other one, but I've got a good feeling about the 3000 GT. Don't know what it is.
Hold on to the feeling, Bobo, and let's get to the track.
Let's try and get to the track here. Now, this controller is a white controller. I don't remember whether or not it shouldn't be the same seizure-inducing controller I was using before. I'm pretty sure I took that out of rotation, but
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about your rear view mirror going bat
just,
poopy last time.
just occasionally deciding it wanted to come on. It
Mm-hmm.
just decided that's what's going to happen. Now let's just double check and make sure. We have won every endurance race. We have a cup in all of them,
Mm-hmm. I verifying the cup is appearing on the image.
including the Rome Circuit 2 hour. We have won all rounds of all of these various other cups. Even the GT300 and GT500 championships, which are sort of little mini championships. Now there are individual ones that you can get at all of the like little nations. I'm pretty sure I've completed all those too, but that would take way too long to just sort of check because you'd have to go to like each country and then each manufacturer, and
There's
nobody
a
got
lot
time
of
for that.
those. We'll just assume that Bobo is honest and we've watched, oh yeah, your series from 2013.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like as recently as maybe 2000, what was that, 16, that we made an addition to it.
Let me check. I have the playlist up here right now. Okay, that one was, yes, December 24th, 2016. So it's
That's right.
been almost 2 years. Well, 1.5 years since Bobo and I have sat down with this game last.
I made it. I made it a Christmas present to the world to present more Gran Turismo.
And
This,
this
I guess,
time, Christmas came early.
it's almost half Christmas.
I know,
Let's see.
Grim.
This is actually a reasonably nice selection of tracks here. These are fun tracks to drive on. They're not necessarily
Mhm.
total bitch tracks.
I
Um,
love Laguna. Who doesn't like Laguna Seca, right?
Laguna Seca is tricky. My absolute favorite is Trial Mountain. So I guess in terms of one that I feel like I'm good at driving, so I guess we will find out relatively quickly whether or not this car is going to be good enough. Because if I can't
Hmm.
succeed at Trial Mountain, I just need to quit the championship and go bring out a cheater car. And by
The one
cheater
with a
car, I think we all know what I mean.
the one with a V6 in front and a V6 in back.
Yeah, it's a V12. There are cars with V12s. They just distributed these ones differently.
Hmm.
Let's go ahead and let's put super soft tires all around because I don't think those tires will go off over the course of, what is this race? 5 laps or 10 laps? I think 5 laps.
This is actually the second time I've talked about the Escudo today, by the way, because
I'll be damned. Also,
at,
I just ran into the classic PlayStation 1 conundrum of hitting circle to try and quit out of a menu, and that actually being the Japanese confirm button.
that's what I was about to say. How Japanese is this game?
So
Circle should be the good button.
I had to triangle my way out. Okay.
It's one of those games.
So tell me about this Escudo, this other Escudo discussion, or is it top
Oh,
secret?
well, no, it's not a top secret. Our support girl, she was talking about going to a race and how the circular ones were kind of boring. Well, if you want one that's really exciting, because we're in Colorado, of course, you should go to the Pikes Peak Hill Climb. Then
That's
you'll get
right.
tons of excitement.
And Monster Tajima is still going up the mountain on a annual basis. He's just doing it in a. Oh yeah, how loud and annoying is that engine sound? Do I need to tone it down?
Let's see.
We'll find out. People will complain.
Oh, they would never. Sounds pretty good on my end, but I'm terrible at this whole thing.
Oh shoot! Hang on. Uh, okay. Yeah. We need
Oh,
to be able to use the stick. It's the reason I was swerving erratically at the very start and then just started going in a straight line.
swerving means it's working, but not properly.
Okay.
Also, Evan himself says it's quiet and mildly annoying. Okay.
Quiet and mildly annoying. Well, good.
I'm not sure what to make of that.
That's exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah, we can hear ourselves very well. Got one of them Toyota kind of F1 cars.
Well,
Well, you were passing with these. There's a
I was passing him, but you know what? This is a very nice and stable car. It's, however, really reluctant to turn.
That's unfortunate.
It doesn't spin very easily, but that's because it doesn't turn at all very easily.
Kind of interesting. I thought this was a rear-wheel drive car, so I'd expect
Oh,
oversteer.
this is an all-wheel driver. Actually, the 3000
Ah.
GT in its most basic form was actually a front drive car. If you got the base model, it was a front wheel drive car. It was one of those. I think you could also buy it as a Dodge Stealth way back when, because that was back in the days when Chrysler had a big old stake in Mitsubishi, and they made them the Colt, all that other stuff. I think were they both Dodge and Mitsubishi Colts? I think I might have both sold them under the same name, and it was all copacetic. I've
Let's
just
say.
phased into the 5th place car.
Hmm.
That was pretty exciting.
Pro strats from defying the laws of physics.
Oh,
Too
that's
far
right. That's
behind,
that
only
one
3
Alfa
seconds.
Romeo with a really crazily highly tuned engine that just sort of screams whenever you drive past it. It's not the fastest car, but sure does make the craziest noise. We're already past it, so if you missed it, you missed it. Sorry. We'll hopefully not be down that far again.
Okay, I have lots of good feeling for racing games this year because during my job search, I was playing pretty much nothing but racing games: Dirt 3, Dirt Rally, and also the Grid 2, which is a game that I bought specifically because Bobo wanted to play with me and Zerf at one point. That just never came to fruition at one point.
And then,
But
yeah, sad dreams.
like I'm really familiar with the handling of all the front wheel, rear wheel, and all-wheel drive cars now, thanks mostly to the Grid 2. Whenever you're in these rear-wheel drive cars, they tend to oversteer, and controlling the steering, you usually just have to let off the gas. And they tend to be aimed at that point because the thing that's driving the turn is the rear wheels.
Yeah,
Whereas,
it's like a shopping cart versus I don't know, one of those carts that you drag from behind you.
one of them wacky IKEA carts.
Yeah, like a cart, except there's like an umlaut over the A. I don't even know if that's something you can do with an A, but they did it.
And that's probably why it was so wacky. And these all-wheel drive cars have a very certain brick-like dynamic when it comes to turning. Depends if they're on dirt.
Well, ideally we're not going to be on dirt, although ideally we'd also be higher than 4th. We don't seem to be cracking that barrier.
It looks like the Toyota F1 is holding that front position last time I saw.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell which of the pixels up there is,
It's the red pixel, if I remember correctly.
I need heat moves is what I need.
Heat moves, yes. Referring, of course, to Yakuza 5, where you were driving a taxi and you could just do these crazy maneuvers where you'd pass it.
And it would give like a little title for it too. It would be like Ecstasy of the Power Drift or something like that.
Yeah, they have all kinds of ridiculous names like that.
I mean, all of the fighting techniques had them too, so obviously this had to as well. You know what? What was that you said about it handling well on dirt?
That's grass, Bobo, no! Everything is fine. No one was disqualified.
There are no marshals. I don't see anybody waving flags.
It's funny, in the Grid 2, they have some kind of, what am I looking for? Temperamental calling of the rules whenever you go over the barrier. Sometimes it counts, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on the phase, the mood of whoever's watching. Well, at least you can still see the people in front of you. That's usually my metric for racing games. If I can see them, I can pass them.
Yeah, I was wondering about this because it's sort of in that situation where, like, there are definitely races in this game where like the last 2 or 3 cars will be woefully behind, and the first 1 or 2 cars will just sort of like pull ahead at an amazing pace. It doesn't seem to be quite in that sort of a realm, so
It's doable for sure.
well,
Just need to get those lines.
I only have 1 more lap to do it, and I've been in 4th place the entire race essentially.
I'm sure their tires are shot and they'll just run through a wall and give it to you.
Or that might happen.
Special moves brought to you by Diddy Kong Racing.
Ah, see? That's another one of the racing games that you fell in love with this year.
Yep. Yeah, it was the last time I was playing a bunch of racing games. What day was it? BoboTheVulture 2017.
It was Bobo Day. It was the day that Bobo may or may not have ended his whole, career of playing football games on screens.
On the highest of note, too.
Yeah.
3 years, 3 bowls, all wins. The history that should have occurred with the Buffalo Bills.
I don't know. Like, nobody likes a three-peater, though, right? I mean, You get into that sort of like strata of winning, and everybody just sort of looks at you like you're a jerk.
But we'll just take the wins.
I suppose I should. But, you know, it's like everybody who's not from... Like, everybody who's not from Boston, or who's not a Patriots fan, is not looking at the Patriots and saying, oh, yeah, that's a really great operation. They're typically, they're like, I'm tired of seeing them win. Go whoever
Yeah,
else is
it's
there.
true. I think they've done it more than 3 times, though, and that's why people are really pissed. That's why they were happy the Eagles shut them down this year.
Oh, the GT4. I thought about the GT40 race car. That might have been a better pick for this event. Only a half a second behind the #1 driver.
Yeah,
Oh,
some
and see, the
creative
computer can't
tactics
even keep
there.
my car on the track, so I was doing a great job.
I mean, this is Gran Turismo. The rules are subject to bending.
Well, that was my favorite, and I did not win. However, I was competitive. I was not completely outclassed, so maybe I should keep trying.
Listen to your heart.
I'm only 4 points behind in the championship. Let's not watch this. Let's not watch this replay. Let's just keep moving forward.
Remember that same Bobo when I was playing Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo? Anything is possible.
Oh, $5,000 instead of 25. Thanks so much.
Sad.
All
That'll
right,
pay for the gas maybe we used.
next
Not the
session.
tires.
Laguna Seca. All right, now let's go into the settings here and see if we can't. All right, gears, full customization. Yeah. Oh, that's correct. That's what I wanted to be. Engine parts, muffler air cleaner. Ah, part setting. Here we go. I can set my final drive ratio between acceleration and max speed. Now, on that last track, we weren't even getting into 6th gear, so this is definitely set too high. This is set too much for top speed. Try and remember, everybody, 21 is where it was naturally set. Let's bring it down to 12.
Engrave it into your souls.
Right. Yes, circle is not quit. I'll do it one
Engrave
day.
that into your soul.
Yeah, if I can't engrave that in myself. All right, now let's do a test lap here and see whether or not this is the appropriate gearing for Laguna Seca.
Now, if you've forgotten what Laguna Seca is, folks, because maybe you've never played a racing game of the Gran Turismo variety, or you haven't watched Bobo play these, this one has a certain maneuver on it called the corkscrew, which is fairly tricky. It has a lot of other tight turns, like this one coming up right at the beginning. Very tight hairpin. But the corkscrew is its unique offering.
Yeah, and this is a racetrack. I think this was the first big video game I remember that featured this track. I mean, there might have been another one out there, but this is like sort of the first big console game that I remember having Laguna Seca on it. And it's pretty well-known track in the United States anyways. It was a place where they ran champ cars, Indy cars, open wheel racers for a number of years. All right, we're up into 6th gear and time to take flight. Nope.
Yep,
We did it.
Corkscrew. You can't even see it on the map, but it's just like a blind, winding corner.
It just falls off of the world.
On Gran Turismo 4, I've gone over this with hilarious results.
Oh,
Especially in
I'm
more
sure.
powerful cars.
Yeah, they definitely have gotten well. All right, I have to work on the timing of the final turn there, but I think this gearing is much better suited to this circuit. I could almost bring it down even more, but
It's taken off pretty damn well at the look of things.
I'll be satisfied with that. I could tighten it up even more, but there's you get diminishing returns with that sort of thing. And if I actually did manage to get a good run off of the previous turn and carried more speed going through, then I'd just sort of be hitting the top of the gear, and it's all bad. 21 is where it was set previously. Thanks for the memories, Urchar.
All right, let's see how the sucker can go. Wing, eat or dirt, everybody.
See?
When you lower those gear ratios, folks, you
It was
take off
just
like a jet plane.
it was just a gearing issue. Perfectly fine. The car's okay. Can we go back and play the last race? I feel better.
They'll give us some adversity to fight against. As we fight against that
Hey.
Toyota trying to go around you and succeeding.
It's an agile little SOB, I'll give it that.
It might be one of the few tracks where the AI can really tear itself up poorly, although it's fairly cautious on the corkscrew in my experience, although I haven't played a lot of Gran Turismo 2.
It can kill itself on the corkscrew, but I think it tends to do that when there's more than one driver going through it at a time. Like if it's got to deal with traffic in the corkscrew, that turns out to be a problem for it. It's just
Dirty
a fine how do you
fool.
do.
Reminds me of some of the dirty pool I pulled in, I think it was Dirt 2. No, it was definitely also, or not Dirt 2, Grid 2. Dirt 3 is where I have a lot of dirty pool. It's so easy to do on, like, the big truck races. You can pit maneuver pretty much everything right off the track. And man, it is satisfying.
Stay back there. I see you.
I get you. See?
And we were just talking about pit maneuvers. That's not supposed to be what you're trying for. You're supposed to be a classy. You're supposed to be a classy computer driver that just goes about its business in a normal way.
As far as I'm aware, in this game, the physics aren't good enough for pit maneuvers to happen as reliably. There's not the stickiness that's really required. This was back in the era where, like, colliding polygons didn't have a whole lot of friction. Right into the wall again. Bobo didn't even assist you that time.
Hello.
Looks like he's got a pretty low gear ratio looking at how he's catching up to you.
Oh my, there's a traffic jam back there. He's got company.
Yeah, the GT is on your butt.
And my side.
And now he's on your face.
You know what? I'm in full support of you finishing second. Behind that, behind me, not behind this guy.
GT4 is on. No, I feel like taking the win.
You know, if you want to redistribute the points back there, I am totally down with that. Everybody's just having a little song and dance on my hinder here. This is
Also, thankfully, this game does not bother damage to the vehicle, except for the tires, of course.
Yeah.
Not in this race. If it was, you'd actually see the tire diagram on screen. Grid 2, though, it does, and it's pretty great. If you like bang off the front of your car, and it has the radiator exposed or fender exposed, the handling of the vehicle is definitely changed. And trying to keep that sucker on the road, especially at high speeds, can be quite the challenge. Of course, if you wreck hard enough, it'll just kill you and say the race is over. But it's pretty forgiving, all things considered.
all right. Have to get into attack mode here. Not literal attack mode, but
Serious Bobo is online. Whoa!
That-
Dangerous passing. But effect. Oh!
that's possibly a little too serious.
Let me rewind that thought. Not so effective.
That's true. No rewinding in this one. Plenty of the modern driving sims will have a little rewind button where you can, oh hey.
Allows you as the player to be incredibly aggressive and stupid. And somehow succeed at life.
Yeah, that That was totally planned.
Uh-huh.
Hey there, hey there, Dirt. Honestly,
You know,
it's
you
this
gotta use
turn
the
that's doing me in. I'm not carrying enough speed going into the main long pit straight here. Though that time it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'll take it going into the last lap.
All right, don't get penisy, though. Still got one more of these corkscrews and everything else to go through. Gotta
True.
be aggressive, but safe.
I don't want to I don't want to penis my corkscrew.
Or corkscrew your penis. Everything, it doesn't need that combination. It's not, you know, peanut butter and chocolate. Possibly played still. He says, rewind? That must be to appease the people that expect to be handed everything. As long
Yeah.
as I can restart without consequences, I'm happy. I don't need to have those individual rewinds.
The participation trophy of racing games. Oh, you showed up in your car? Well, congratulations.
Also, apparently Calazard has not seen you since you played Diablo 2 with Grimmeth and JG, I'm guessing.
Wow. So, that was...
It's been some time.
I was gonna say, hi. That was in the pre-live era, so welcome to Live Bobo. Oh,
Good execution
wow.
of that final turn. It looks like you have this one in the bag, and there it is.
I'm so frustrated now that I thought I would just go ahead and see whether or not we could avoid the little fiddly part of adjusting the car's gearing to be perfect for the track. I feel like that was possibly the big difference in success because I'm not that great at Laguna Seca.
Well, sometimes that's how it is. I know Dirt 3 really showed me how tweaking the car can yield some very different results.
Now I finished in third in the last race, or was it fourth?
It was third.
It
You
was
snuck
third,
past
so
the
I am
guy.
now in second place in the championship, but I will have to continue to finish ahead of the GT1 in the remaining 3 rounds in order to make anything good come of this.
Gonna take it back, Bobo.
Oh, before we go anywhere, let's once again marvel at those multi-pixel background layers.
In all their square greatness. Look at those trees just peeking over that square hill.
Also, look at the garages on the right there that are seemingly floating off into the vanishing point in the horizon, far
Sure.
beyond where the road ends.
They do what they want. Also, hey there, Travis the Unknown, who's just stopped by.
Hey Travis, I apologize for not necessarily interacting with you directly. I can occasionally, in between races, peek down, squint my eyes real close because I'm having a look at the preview screen of the stream on a netbook, which is not the best way to do this. There we go, 25 large. Press
Put him
that
in the
circle
bag.
confirm button to make the totals cash up quicker.
Grimmett throwing shade at your technology, also saying that driving is what's most important here. Also, it gives me a chance to experience being attentive to chat. It's something I don't actually experience that often.
All right.
Usually, I'm playing the games that require focus.
Yes, Apricot Hill is a little more of a wide open track. So let me go ahead and do a test lap on it real quick, make sure I don't have to stretch the gears back out again. Also, so I can confirm which of these racetracks it actually is. Yeah, see, it wasn't the one I thought it was. Well, this one is nice too. World Championship is all on very pleasant racetracks.
Grimace says, I feel like Bo's perpetual goal in life is, what shitty piece of technology can I somehow record and stream off of? Thanks, Griff. Also, hey there, Erdenshire. Yeah, there's always time to improve on my attentiveness, Bladesville, for sure.
Just have to get to start finish straight here and see how we do.
So far, it feels like it's pretty much straight on. You hit the top of the gears right there at the turn.
Yeah, that was the second longest straight. Of course, I sort of let my mind and thoughts wander there as we got up to a section there and almost completely went off. Now then, let's see whether or not in this final long straight this actually turns out to be too much and we hit the rev limiter. Nope. Almost perfect. Couldn't have planned it better.
There you go, just as planned.
All right. And yes, it does say re.
That's just because they watch Rev so much. Who doesn't actually play a lot of games with revving in them. But there you go. Also, Calazard says, I like to pretend this is actually a 2018 racing game, but when run on Bobo's rig, it's turned into this.
I mean, I'm sorry. I have multiple computers, and this is the lesser of my computers. But the one that is my primary computer is the one that's actually making me money right now. So I can't just be using it for idle flippery.
Important business, for sure.
It has to be set up in the office, where important people do their important business.
Not for casual streams like this. Maybe someday, but we'll have another strong computer.
Well, maybe someday I'll have a weak computer, a different weak computer that can actually still do my work.
That's true.
Hey guys.
Thinking I need a new computer at work. Mine's been giving me memory errors, and that's something that I'd like to avoid as a programmer. These things die for no particular reason, save faults, and all varieties of memory dumps. And all this is untenable. Interesting physics as you whip around that GT40 and somehow maintain control. That was some driving in the 90s stuff there, I gotta say.
Hey. Now, unfortunately, I don't think there's really a slipstream function in this game, so,
Probably before that was a thing.
Alright, carried entirely too much speed in there.
This computer gets to enjoy frames as Cal's
That's right, it gets to munch on all the frames.
Also, apparently, Surf just had to remove some RAM from his laptop because it went bad. Just add load more RAM, says Rodolero. I would, but my 3D printer, it doesn't exist. So
It has an existence issue.
Yep. Because if it did, I could probably never get Grimmett to come to my house again. He's scared of those things. He does not understand them. He doesn't want to understand them. Playing Hack Neck, says Crazy Ken 360, and I'm finding it surprisingly intriguing. I'm trying to remember. Hack Neck. Oh yes, I think Hack Neck is the one that's more realistic compared to Uplinks, the other one.
Stay back. I have a gun.
It's funny how that works out, sir. He says that I diagnosed it my bad RAM as the confusing cause. Linux booted just fine. Of course, Windows crashed every 30 seconds. GT40 again pulling into the lead, toying with Bobo.
This is fascinating. Well, because first of all, what we were dealing with was at this time a modern Le Mans overall victory competing car, and continually attempting to move into the lead around it is a potentially Le Mans winning car from like 40 years in its past.
It's a very good car. What I'm finding interesting in this race is it's been a real slobber knocker. It feels like everyone's had a piece of first place at one point in this race.
I would like to have the final piece. That's my primary concern. I mean, yes, I was pursuing for a while. That's not the best feeling.
There's the Toyota back on the attack.
It's back, Jack, on the attack. Now it does have top end on me. There it goes, attempting to exercise that.
Probably has a little more in the aerodynamics too. All right, so you can't have that happen again. I think it got ahead of you just at the finish line. So if he could have a certain accident.
This is oh boy. I lost out on the dirt there because I could not get the car stable enough again to sort of turn back onto the road.
You should maintain control. You're still on this. You got plenty of time. 2 laps left. Just keep control. Keep cool. Stay aggressive.
Be aggressive.
But racing's all about you got to push yourself and the car to the limit without losing control, or without the car exploding.
Well, I mean, that's hopefully keeping the car in its own control.
Wow, you absolutely destroyed that Toyota on that hairpin.
The last of the late breakers.
As you can see, plenty of time left. You just need to be more aggressive than the other guy. Gotta want it more.
You know, I know a lot of people really love the joy of the pursuit and all that sort of thing, but oh boy, you're way too close back there.
So you gotta take it to the limit, Earnshire. Stayed ahead of him this time. And then, whoosh. AI taking some interesting speed in these turns, but ultimately losing out. I say as the GT40 tries to hang on to first and fails.
If the GT40 really wants to defeat the GT1, which it should, it's 39 better. I'd be grateful. It should just do that.
Level out our numbers and make this a real contest. But it looks like Bobo's taking it. He's at the finish. Almost.
Oh no, this is not the finish. There is.
Sorry,
there's.
it was just right away I got excited.
You saw a long straightaway and figured that was going to be where the race would end.
Yep.
I got it.
Still a little bit left. Several
Still
feet.
got this final, fairly technical section with all these little back and forths and whoop-de-doos and whatnots, which I'm just going to cut like a dirty cheater because, let's face it, it's what I am.
AI can take advantage of that too. We've seen them do it.
Oh, looks like they beat each other up. Yes!
No chance. Looks like you got at least a second on him.
We're on our best of being CM Punk style best in the world, and then getting knocked out in 17 seconds.
GT1 again taking second.
Ah, GT40, you disappoint me. Is it because your number isn't spelled out?
As a matter of fact, it is.
I'm sorry.
Reese isn't doing so well either.
FORTY. Also, I like that Ford GT40 has to say that it's a race car. No, you're pretty clearly a race car. It's because there is a theoretically non-race car version of the Ford GT40 in this, but don't know.
Only one was ever made. It's probably owned by J.Lo.
They're going on my GT40. Oh dear. It's all tied up at the top.
There you go. But somehow you're on top.
Well, I'm pretty sure that it won't count as winning if it comes down to that in the last round.
It might, but let's just assume it won't. So you'll push yourself even harder. In the last 2 races of the finals.
No extra cars. Hey, we almost got $1 million at this point. Let's hit up the next sesh. Oh, damn it.
So many credits.
It's the Rome Circuit full course. Well, I certainly can't say that. I mean, I'm clearly very familiar with the Rome Circuit full course. The last time I played this game, I was playing the Rome Circuit full course.
And you only did like 70 laps on it.
I think it was like 97 or 98.
Let me go to the tape.
because the counter went up to 99, and we were trying to figure out, it's like, oh, am I going to be able to, because the race went for 2 hours, so it just set the counter at 99, because it figured you'll never make it. And we got into the late 90s, and I was like, oh man, can we do it? And we could not.
I was going to say, it says 90 on the counter, so it looks like you are correct. Thankfully, the walls are just suggestions in this game. They will go ahead and guide you back onto the Lord's path, which is the asphalt, just in case you didn't know. Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty sweet drift.
I was thinking just that myself.
Which is not the fast way through a turn. It's not efficient.
It's the fun way.
That's the fast way through a turn.
Having the wheels actually contact the pavement and do something. What's even the point of living?
Hazel, what are you doing down there?
I want to race too, Daddy.
She's standing at my feet and she's grooming herself, like she's just doing the little like cleaning the paws, wiping the face thing, but she's doing it just close enough that she's tickling my legs. She's trying to tickle my shins. Hey kitten, I understand. You're very disappointed that Bean is not around. I'm sad too, but that's the reason that Daddy can play Gran Turismo right now.
Looks like you could shorten up the ratio a bit more if you cared to.
Probably could. I worry about. Hey, kitty. Mwah. All right. You want to stand on my knee for a while? Is that what we're doing? You notice I'm keeping
Hazel.
a very tense forward lean so that you cannot attempt to sit on my lap. I'm hunched forward.
Hazel, this is important. This is for all the nutmeg. Just as SKS always says.
There you go. There, you can bump my hand. Wasn't that nice? Isn't that what you wanted to do? There you go. It's great. Okay. Let's I will bring it down to 10.
10. My God.
I feel like that.
Bobo.
I feel like that may still be too much. I mean, it may be too aggressive. I'm not really sure. We'll find out.
You can never be too aggressive.
So many credits. That's right. We got a lot of credits. We got a lot of money. There will be a lot of credits at the end of this if we manage to succeed. There is an ending sequence to Gran Turismo 2, and we will see it tonight. Here's hope.
The one where Ron Paul comes out and baptizes your car.
Yeah, say, does anybody want to go out for a burger? This is an alternate reality where he became the president and got kidnapped by ninjas.
I see. That was also the reality where the Buffalo Bills were successful. Such a shame that these realities don't exist.
Hey!
He's all sweet drift, bro. Let me go ahead and take the lead from you, though. It's more efficient. Say yourself. Genuine rivalry of these two Japanese supercars doing what they do best. He must have put his ratio pretty darn low. He shot out there like a ball rocket.
He has a better car than I do. I'm just gonna say it right now. That one may be a little trickier to drive. It's ultimately faster.
I would think so, just on aerodynamics alone.
And it appears that he's gonna walk away now, which is
Don't let him walk away. You say don't walk away.
Don't run away.
Get him, Bobo. This is your race. Don't let him take it.
Never my intention. Let's see what we can do.
See, that would have been a perfect pit maneuver in a game with more reliable physics. But in this game, of course, he slid off that Toyota just like water. That was pretty good, though. No skating at all. All the energy was directed at the track.
And here comes the part where he just decides to put it into light speed and just sort of phase into another dimension.
Well, we'll have to arrange an accident for when he's not on that big straight, which he frequently isn't. Even though you can't pit maneuver a car in this game that easily, there's still other ways that you can play some very dirty pool. Not as dirty as, say, San Francisco Rush, even Dirt 3, but fairly dirty.
I mean, yeah, there's no turning your car into a bomb and then colliding with them.
For sure. Or just setting him off a cliffside, which is my favorite thing to do in San Fran. There we go, good.
I was gonna say, I tried to take this. I'm trying to take these turns cleanly now, and I don't know whether or not it's helping or hurting. Okay, there I just got completely lost and shaken up. That's not great. The rhythm's all gone. Gotta get it back. Gotta feel the rhythm and feel the rhyme. Gotta sneak up on this guy like I'm in a Jamaican bobsled.
I wasn't fast enough to get the it's car racing time or something else. I couldn't think of anything clever. Gotta feel the rhythm, gotta feel the rhyme. It's time to win, it's Bobo time, or something silly like that.
Yeah, I think. Is this round 4 or round 5?
This is the 4th race of the series.
Oh god.
Come on, Bobo, don't give up.
I mean, I have every confidence that whatever the next race is, I'll be able to win, but I don't.
You got 2 laps, and he will be closer to you in just a moment. You may have to play some dirty pool. Dang it, I know you can take these turns better than him. I've seen it. I know you know how to play dirty pool.
Dirty pool is not as effective in this game as it is in a lot of games, and it's even less effective on street circuits because you can't bounce them into the dirt because there's no dirt.
The best thing you got is cutting them off into a square wall, which there's some square walls on this one. Ultimately, the best thing that could happen is if he gets his butt turned around, because he's going to have a hell of a time facing back forward.
Oh, that's the physics for that in this game are really pretty bad. You'd have to do something very serious to another car in order to turn them around.
Yeah, we're not on Laguna Seca anymore.
And this, like, in this game, it is literally impossible to make a car, like, invert. Like, you can get all 4 wheels off, but you can't make them, like, tilt beyond a certain axis, basically. The car will just sort of hover.
That's how you didn't flip it onto its top on that last race. Or on Laguna Seca. In later versions of this game, I think you can pretty much put the car on its own.
Oh, I believe so. I believe by 5 they had physics good enough for you to be able to completely destroy your car. Those are the improvements that everybody was looking for.
Much to the manufacturer's chagrin. Well, Toyota, it looks like you just geared yourself better, and of course you do have a very nice car, so...
I give him all the credit in the world. Well done, little GT1. If I had one of those, and... I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't start getting all ifs and ands, because that's quitter talk.
Well, let's see if we can get the same amount of points and take the trophy home. Either way, more practice for this race.
Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can win this next race and somehow arrange it so that he does not take second place.
That's another option as well.
That's an entirely more complicated option than having won that last race. All right. Next session, 0 margin for error. In fact, a negative margin for error. Things have to both go completely well, and they have to go poorly for others.
That's right. Calisard said, if only you could sabotage his car outside the race.
All right, midfield.
Not the case.
What's midfield's story? The names kind of run together of the made-up tracks to me a little bit. Okay. I can already tell I may already have a car geared a little too low for this one. I think this is going to play to the strengths of the GT1.
Going faster than your car, the ultimate strength.
Oh no, a car that's fast, my weakness. It's not going to be the longest straight here, though. We are coming up on that. Down at the very bottom of this hill, we'll start a long sequence of right around to here is where we start a more or less non-stop bid for going faster.
That's the turn right there that really is going to be the challenge on this. This one, not so much. Sixth gear, approaching the red limiter.
Okay, just barely hit it. So
yeah, I think that's pretty all right, actually. Then.
I might take it up another tick. Not that I'll hit that all the time, but
when you do, for that second, you will be going a faster speed than you would otherwise.
I'm not going to do another test run. I realize that that's probably something that people are fearing in the chat.
Oh, they fear a lot of things.
I mean, we're all only mortals for the most part.
So another thing I enjoy about Grid 2, this is what Lethal's going to bring up time after time, since it was a game that Bobo ultimately led me to purchase and play.
I led you to purchase it and master it with the intention of playing it with you, and then I purchased it but never mastered it. Or for that matter, even installed it.
They have this one mode where it just constantly builds the track in live or in real time as you race. So you have to sight read the race the whole time as you go through it. Now, it's not exactly that because it's kind of made up of Daggerfall-like modules. So you're all, oh, it's this section again. So I should expect a hairpin turn. But I really, really enjoy it. The AI is really skittish on it too, which usually leads me to dominate. Unless I get very cocky and destroy my car, which has happened on some occasions.
Have you ever played a game, possibly Grid 2 has it, and I'm just not aware. Have you ever played a game that has the old full Nürburgring on it?
I don't think... No, Grid 2 does not have that. The only one I can think of, the last one I played that had it was GT4.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. GT4, I think, was the first one that I remember having it, although I think there may have been some old PC games that had it.
That track is just so darn big.
Yeah, it's just a lot to memorize, which I never got around to. But there are lots of people, there are people that, live in and around the town who, that's part of, that's their job. They are people who, as a job, take people around the Nürburgring. And so they know all the details, and they've spent, weeks worth of time out of their lives on this track, going over it, memorizing all of the little bits and pieces. Okay, that was a poorly handled turn, but
the thing I hate most about that track is just that straight on it, because it's not a real straight. It has all kinds of little defects and whatnot that can send a very very powerful car into a unpredictable series of events very easily.
Oh, but that's exactly how it was, I guess, or still is. I mean, you can still go. Hey, friend.
Hello, my old friend. I see you've got a low gear ratio again. You come sliding up my ass in a attempt to pass a ground.
Didn't manage it though. I'm not in a position where I can attempt any kind of sabotage to, you know, actually see whether or not I could win this championship without it ending up in a tie that is like kissing your sister or whatever. Isn't that what they say about ties? I don't know.
Sure. Also, hey there, tiny shopkeeper. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. It's not my expertise. And if this game did have better physics, that Toyota would have shot under you just like a ram coming from behind.
That has happened in the history of racing before. One car has driven completely over the back of another, and due to the way that they're shaped, just sort of catapulted into the air.
Okay, he didn't fly up your butt this time, but you know he's there. I can hear him.
He's not really that there.
Okay, maybe I'm hearing phantom Toyotas.
This track does loop over itself, so it is possible you were hearing cars driving around the other section.
Also, you're probably right there, Calazar. Daggerfall Racing is actually entering the void to instantly lap. Makes me remember speed runs of like Mario Kart 64, where you jump over the entire like track effectively. There's some really bad glitches in those games. Remember one on Rainbow Road, you had to fall off at just the right point. Whack it through and pull your ass up on a place where you'd be on the next lap, but you had to hit it perfect. I'm not the kind of person who searches for that sort of thing. I'm looking for real racing strats. Or when it comes to Mario Kart, just being more malicious than the AI.
Well, I feel like this may have been something that we discussed before, but that was just never my style. I was always, even in Mario Kart, a pure racing guy. If I had the option of taking away all of the weapons and nothing was actually involved in it, that would have been like the game mode I would have gone for. But it does. It does. I mean, it clearly it's not how the game was designed to be played exactly. There's supposed to be a little bit of an equalizer in being able to throw a red shell at a guy or whatever.
The red shells are the lesser of the multiple evils, at least in this day and age.
Well, yes.
I do enjoy the physics of Mario Kart 8. So pure racing, and that's not too bad, especially on higher difficulties like 150. Because you have to use advanced tactics like braking and power slides. You typically don't have to do that.
You know what? We're not going to come away with the championship here, I don't think. But I'm really proud of the result that I got out of that race. I raced that GT1 clean, and I was fair. He came up behind me and tried to bump me a little bit. We finished almost 2 seconds ahead of him.
Yep.
That was really nice. Now then.
Poor Alpha down there. What are you doing in this race?
Yeah, there's usually like maybe one car in any of these given championships. You're just like, what's happening here?
Like the ever pitiful Vectors. Those poor things. Now, it says we're on top. It says Bobo number 1. I expect you to uphold that number 1.
could watch this replay. Or... Yeah, well, actually, let's listen to the Alpha 155 touring car a little bit. Because it has a crazy engine.
Why is it crazy?
I mean, just... It has a crazy sound compared to all the other ones.
I thought I had like a different kind of design, like these silly Volvos that 5-cylinders and whatnot. What the heck?
Oh, or the Mazdas with their rotary engines, where it's just one triangular-shaped cylinder and like 3 different combustion chambers as it cycles around.
Yeah, wacky stuff like that. Or you know, it's a scooter that has
An engine up front and an engine in the back. It's business up front and business in back.
all business all the time.
The business of hauling ass. Okay. Next. What happens? Let's continue. What happens? What?
Da, 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 da. You win!
I feel weird about this. I don't feel like it's legit.
I don't feel like a winner.
I don't feel like a winner. I feel like I got put on the top of the podium and I'm like, no, Toyota GT1 guy, you come up here too. We
Okay, Bobo. Just imagine you're both holding the trophy. You're both winners.
Yay,
Everyone
I'm a
wins, except for those other
co-champion.
guys.
I'm curious now whether or not this is going to count as having won the game. Like, is it going to take us to the credit sequence after this?
Also, there's a cutscene after this. You're going to perceive this in your mind, viewers at home. That Lethal comes out and cuts the trophy in two, so both shall have a half of the trophy.
I hope it wasn't one of those.
Be fair.
I hope it wasn't one of those plastic ones. It'd just shatter into a million pieces and get into everyone's eyes.
This one was solid gold, so I know because I was the one cutting it.
No, that's good. It's good and soft then.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I just took out a very sturdy butcher knife and right down the center.
All right, let's exit. Congratulations, you are the world champion. Check your bonus items on arcade mode disc. Well, shoot, hope the arcade mode disc is in there.
If it isn't, well.
If it isn't, well, it's not taking us straight back to home. Or if it is, it's taking an awfully long time to load. I believe what's happening here is that music is supposed to be swelling. Nope. Nothing of the sort. It counts as a win, but it didn't give me an ending sequence. I'm very confused and sad.
Sad.
So sad.
Giant Gran Turismo.
Gonna keep triangling out until I get back to the main menu and see if there's anything there.
Yeah, what new car did we get?
Oh yeah, I guess I should see what new car we got. All right, let me go back to start game and look at what new car we got before I go on to the other disc for bonus content.
Makes me laugh because it's like, you won the game. Please insert disc 2 to have your winning sequence.
That seems to be what it's going for here. Aha!
Oh, that's a pretty one.
It is a swoopy car, roughly the caliber of the Toyota GT1. I don't think it's ultimately as fast in this game, but it's in that neighborhood.
Nice.
Yeah, it weighs nothing. Well, doesn't weigh much. Let's see, 2601.
Weighs almost as low as my car.
This is 28. See, this really only weighs like a me more.
A me more.
This is that car once I sit in it.
Well, there you go. It gets several hundred pounds, a couple of 100 pounds heavier and a year older when Bobo sits in it.
Okay, what's happening here then? Oh yeah, let me take a quick look at that GT1 race car in East City so we can see how much more impressive in theory it is. Now, the engine specs might not actually be that much more impressive. It's probably just going to be embarrassing to look at because it doesn't look like it's that much more special.
But it's under special. Come on.
You know, what's
Don't
really going to
expect
cheese
that.
me off is if it turns out we didn't get the ending sequence because I missed one of these individual events, one of these individual cups. Okay, that's the road version, which has 591 horsepower.
So light though.
Yeah,
1984. Good
it
year.
weighs nothing. The GT1, no. Okay, so they do not have the full race version as something that you can get here. I'm gonna guess
Hmm.
the full race version weighs roughly the same as this road version, but has the like 670, 680 horsepower. So it'll weigh like 1,000 pounds less than mine, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Had that much less to carry around. That's like 5 me's.
Several Bobos
Four or
less.
five. That's like four carrying around 4 or 5 Bobos.
Erg.
Okay, just just as a random sampling here. Let's make sure that we've won all of these. Yes, I won
Ah,
those.
this brings me back to 2013. I was watching Bobo go through every one of these.
I went through the checklist so carefully. The MRS trophy. Yep.
That was always a good
Accidentally
one.
loading the MRS trophy again. Alteza Cup. Sure
You gotta see
enough.
that mid-engine car twice, right? Bobos are a recognized national form of measurement, says Rodolero.
They could be now. What is a ton? It's it's about 8 Bobos. I don't know. That's a ton
So,
of Bobos.
gonna say that would make you a little bit more than 200 pounds.
Oh well, yeah. 7, 8. I don't know. There's a lot of Bobo to go around. There's more than needs to be.
But there's less than there was, right? I mean, you were on that keto, right?
Yeah, that you reach diminishing returns with that, of course. Also, I got to the point where we haven't been as great about it as maybe sometime in the past. Let's see here.
Grimace, Grimace says divide the Bobo up into various portions. Let me go ahead and warm up the saw again. Ring.
Let's change the scene real quick to a blank screen because we're going to have
Excitement.
to switch some video modes here to quit the game because apparently we don't get to have nice things on that disc.
Sad.
Tell me that oh good, the arcade mode disc is also in the jewel case. Now let me remove SmackDown Here Comes the Pain from the place where the simulation disc was, because of course I had that ready in case while JG was in town the other weekend we had a chance to do anything with that.
Gotcha. So I just noticed I still have this open. The Mitsubishi Colt and the Dodge Colt are actually different vehicles. Although Mitsubishi did certainly make the Plymouth Colt, Dodge Colt, as it's known, the Eagle Summit, the Plymouth Cricket, and the Plymouth Champ. The Plymouth has too many names for this same car.
Oh well,
The Mitsubishi.
the Champ might have been a totally different thing. Well, not totally different, but might have been a mildly different thing. Uh, Shoot, where'd I put the
I mean,
control?
that's what it
Here it
says
is.
on Wikipedia. So
Sure.
that's all I got. The Mitsubishi Colt was, well, let me say that the Dodge Colt was a sedan like car, and the Mitsubishi Colt is actually a hatchback type vehicle.
I suppose that's fair. Mechanically, they were very much of an ilk, though.
An ilk.
All right, now we've got the arcade disc in here. This should have whatever this exciting extra content is.
It should roll out the Gran Turismo 2 banner.
Oh, it's got music. That's not right.
But you said it was supposed to swell earlier.
I mean, yes, but I cut off all of the music because all of the music in this game is licensed, trademarked music. Because this was back when CD games, they were all excited about being able to use CD quality music in them.
They would. All right,
So
here we are.
let's go into, was it options? There's supposed to be new stuff in options. Nope.
I thought it was just an arcade mode. Evan says, I wish this had the music from GT1. Go my way, yeah.
There's actually there is a different theme that got used in the Japanese Gran Turismo games that I don't think ever got used in the ones that were released in North America, and I think it might be a song that got repeated in many of the Japanese versions. Let's see, replay theater. Would it be in the replay theater, maybe? Demonstration. No.
Demo race. So
No,
these are...
dang it, I pressed circle. It's never gonna happen. Nope. Go away. Yes, that's right, sir. Circle gets the square. Because I agree. Alright, so it's not in there. Start game. If I go into start game mode, does it take me to,
Maybe.
you know, does it take me to watch the ending? Bonus items.
Aha! Bonus.
Obtain licenses in Disc 2 to gain access to all courses. I don't want all the courses. Ending credits. Oh, there are ending credits for the arcade mode? You have to go to another disc to see the ending to Gran Turismo 2 in the simulation mode, which is the mode that's the most important mode.
It is just like Lethal told him.
It is as Lethal foresaw. I just remember this coming on its own. It must have been like 2 in the morning, the one other time I quote-unquote completed this game.
There they go. They push
Oh no!
the car down the hill. They're done with it.
It's playing the music.
No.
I'm gonna get copyright strikes on my channel unless I go back and edit this. Beck's gonna sue me.
Damn it, Beck.
And the Foo Fighters later. We need to keep talking.
Gotta keep talking. I'll tell you about a story that happened to me the last couple of days, Bobo. It involves my car.
Oh, nice.
After work, I walked out to my car, as I often do, and got into my car. Upon entering my mobile, I noticed there was a note underneath my wiper. At first, I thought it was a ticket, but I later realized that it had a woman's handwriting.
Is this, I apologize, I just want to get a little bit of context in here. Do you park your car on the street? Do you park it in a driveway, in a garage? Where was your car that had a note on it?
My car was in Denver, parallel parked at the time of the incident.
Okay, so this was not at your home, it was at a place of work or fun or some other leisure.
If they put a note in my wiper while I was in the garage, I would be very confused and alarmed. No, this happened after work. Walked out, saw the note, and I was instructed that, well, my car had been collided with on the driver's side door. I had not noticed this upon entering the car, so I got out and looked at it, and there was indeed a date. The woman told me that if you'd like to discuss, call my number. So I went and had an exchange of text messages. I said, I'm not really torn up. It's a 2006 Suzuki Ario, very good car. Car still functions fine. It's not that bad. So nothing is needed. And she said, "You're so kind. Bless you. May God bless you." And it made me feel so good. But that's not the end of the story.
Well, I mean, you received the blessings of God. That's a pretty impressive story.
So today at lunch, I was sitting outside the work establishment with
I just noticed something. Sorry. I just know. Oh, first of all, you see that guy running to the car and hopping in? and
Yeah.
then like getting away. That's what's referred to as a classic Le Mans start. Back in the olden days of this race, um, they would start on the other side of the racetrack, and they'd fire a gun, and all the drivers would run across the road and get into their cars and start the car and drive off.
That was back before the fun died. They had to go serious and stuff.
There was like a 5-meter dash before the actual like race took place. The other thing I was going to notice that I never noticed before is the credits appear to be projected floating above the Lotus 7s, those little goofy looking cars there that are scrolling down. But you can see the shadow images of them on the, I'm guessing, old film strip screens that keep rolling past.
Well, there you go.
But I'm sorry, the next day.
No. The next day, Lethal was sitting at lunch outside the working establishment with his colleagues when a woman came up and said, "Do you know someone who owns a Suzuki?" And well, I am that man, madam. And she's all, "Oh, it's good to meet you, Lethal." And
She already knew who you were.
And we exchanged, pleasantries and whatnot. And it made me feel good.
Oh.
And of course, I was sitting there with my boss and everything, and some guy I just met that day who was apparently familiar with my boss. I'm all, you just met me today, and you're probably thinking, man, this guy's some kind of nice asshole or something. And my boss is all, yeah, this happens all the time with this guy. People just come up to him and say how nice a guy is. It was a pretty good day.
That's great. If I'm ever in the Denver area, I'm gonna have to look around for a Suzuki Aereo, or Areo, or however it is, and I'm just gonna have to start walking into places and say like, excuse me, does one of you drive a Suzuki Aereo?
I'm that motherfucker.
I just wanted to tell you. Well, actually, no. I'm familiar with your face. I could walk around after I see the Aereo and find where you are nearby, and say, my goodness, I just wanted to let you know what a good soul you are.
I'm alright, you are, sir, as always.
And here we get the special thanks to... We get the special thanks to all of the automotive industry partners who, I think at this point in time, actually were just being contacted by the car company or by the designers asking for help. Nowadays, I think it's the other way around, where the car companies are like, "You're gonna make a new Gran Turismo, right? Will you put our new car in it, please?"
Poor Andy Harrison, representing Vector. You son of a bitch.
I mean, if he still had a job then, if he still had a job then in the 90s, he was doing very well for someone employed with Vector, considering in between like 1972 and like 1990, they made like maybe 16 cars.
And again, we find ourselves looking at the snake-like visage of the Honda S2000.
Yes. Well, that's actually kind of stunning. I have a really fuzzy memory of how this game ends because, like, there's no incentive to go back and, like, win over and over and watch the ending scene a bunch of times. You're basically just like, you've won everything. You go, you buy other cars and take them out to races, and, maybe you copy your information and then delete all the cars out of the garage so you can fill up another garage with weird cars. But, I could have sworn that the closing credits to this, and it was probably 2 in the morning, the one time I won the World Championship. And it said, oh, it's unlocked, the credit sequence, go to the other disc. I flipped over the other disc. I could have sworn it was There Goes My Hero by the Foo Fighters. But no, it's 2 turntables and a microphone by Beck. Or where it's at.
That was another Gran Turismo.
It could have been, or it could have been that I literally was so sleepy at that point that I didn't know up from down, or, upbeat, poppy sort of thing from, like, rocky power ballady thing.
Maybe that's what young Bobo always fell asleep as the Foo Fighters.
Could be childhood memories of Bobo falling asleep. Because yes, let's pretend I was a child when I was playing Gran Turismo 2 and not a teenager or something like that. Or
well, whenever you're a teenager, you're just a big kid. And so whatever,
or
right?
or purchasing a copy of this game when I finally had regular access to a PlayStation in college.
Well,
Gasp.
either way.
What? Yeah.
So, Bobo,
This is it. I don't think there's any more Gran Turismo 2 unless I wanted to play through the arcade disc, which I don't necessarily have a strong inclination to do because it's the same thing basically, right?
yep. So the obvious question is, when can we see Gran Turismo 3, Bobo?
I don't know that Gran Turismo 3 will ever happen. I don't want to make any
Ah,
promises at this point because dear lord, this took long enough, didn't it?
it only took since 2013.
That's
4.5 years in the making.
it is it was an incredibly long and involved game for the time. I guess nowadays, like, you would be disappointed if there weren't as many different races and as many different cars in this game as there are in this game. In like anything that wasn't like sort of a cheapy micro game or something like that, you would expect at least as many cars as in this. But it was huge at the time.
Certainly was. Well, I'm honored that you took me on Shotgun on what is probably your longest running series on your channel.
I'm appreciative of you coming along. I don't know. I don't honestly know whether this is the longest series that I have in terms of literal hours put in. It's probably somewhere up there with
I just
Diablo
meant
2.
I just meant on, years expanded.
Yes. This closing this chapter will be probably anything else that I still have outgoing, like ongoing from the point in time that I started this, is probably sadly never going to be concluded. I would have to say that it's very likely that we will never complete Legend of Dragoon, that one particular run of Dokapon Kingdom. Trying to think of any of the others. Well, Dragon Age got started later than this, and there's still at least a chance that that will get done. But it sort of all depends a lot on when Bean likes to sit down and do things. And Bean's, I mean, I obviously love Bean very dearly, but she's not as devoted to this particular hobby as I am. She enjoys games, sure, but she doesn't necessarily feel as passionate about sharing them with audiences and sort of the overall community of people with similar gaming interests.
Sure. Zerv says it's at least as likely as Super Mario RPG.
Ah, there you go. Jeez. Well, let me go ahead and sign off for this series of Gran Turismo 2. I certainly thank everybody that stuck it out for this. I still get comments on this one periodically, and it is definitely one that people are really excited whenever they see another one show up. So I'm looking forward to that happening. And I do love driving games. I'll do another one again, no doubt. Whether or not it is one that has the same investment of time as this one, probably wouldn't be for a long while. But let me thank you as well, Lethal, for coming along, and I will go ahead and say good night to YouTube.
Night night.
Gotta use this button. YouTube gets to hear that though.